Hello students, it's good to see you again. We're going to go through some of the self-defense patterns. We are going to go from gray belt all the way up to green belt, and then we're also going to include the blue belt to purple belt material. This will be everything for the second red stripe. That's what we're going to be focusing on, and we're also going to go through both the beginner and intermediate for the self-defense patterns. Now, a couple of things about our self-defense patterns. You'll notice that we do cover 8 of them. The first 4 teach you to go all 4 directions, left, right, forward, and back. The next 4 go the same directions again. We add some variety of techniques, and then those 4 also include takedowns. The first 4 have no takedowns. The last 4 all include takedowns. So just keep that in mind as we run through this. Now they're going to do it as a partner, so you're going to be following Mr. Zimmerman, or Mr. Zimmerman is going to be the attacker. You're going to be following Sensei Galan as he does the self-defense patterns. And before we go any further, I just want to take a moment and thank Mr. and Mrs. Zimmerman. They have been coming in and helping us out with these videos. I know you haven't seen Mrs. Zimmerman, but she's the one that's been starting the camera, helping us with the lighting and getting everything set up so that we could do this. So I want to take a moment and thank her and Mr. Zimmerman for coming in and and making this all possible. So we're going to go ahead and bow in and get started with the self-defense patterns. Kyosuke, ready? Student creed. I will build true confidence through knowledge of the mind, honesty of the heart, and strength of the body. I will offer friendship to others and strive to build a strong community. I will, as a black belt, win the battle within myself and never fight to achieve selfish ends. Good. As I said, Mr. Zimmerman is going to be the attacker. Rinchi Galan is going to be doing the self-defense patterns to Mr. Zimmerman. And I am going to do the self-defense patterns in the air so you can see them. I know when you're training at home, first of all, everybody's practicing social distancing, so naturally some people are trying to avoid contact with others, so you could do it the way I'm going to do it. Or I know sometimes when you're practicing at home, you don't have a partner. I used to often train by myself with my karate, and I would treat much of my karate material like it was kata. If it was sparring, I would just imagine the person and still practice my sparring techniques. If I was doing self-defense patterns, I would just imagine someone there and I would practice my self-defense techniques. So again, keep in mind, you can do a lot of your training at home. If you really think about it, kata was nothing more than a way to practice your karate in the air with imaginary attackers. But so that you can see it better, Rinchi Galan will do it with a partner, and then I will also explain it and demonstrate it, so that way you could practice at home the way I'm showing you as well. So we're going to start off with Mr. Zimmerman is going to punch right. All the self-defense patterns we're going to show you today, we're going to do it all from a right punch. So if once you understand how to do it from the right punch, then just naturally mirror it, and now you understand how to do it from a left punch. So Mr. Zimmerman will punch right. We're going to do self-defense number 1. That's gray belt going to tan belt. That means we have to do a roundhouse block to the outside. So let's give it a try. Ready? Roundhouse block. Now from this position, you imagine taking your left hand and punching right at the eye. Then you take your right hand and do a ridge hand to the cheekbone. And then you take your left hand and do a vertical fist to the floating ribs. Let's go back and we're going to do that again. Ready? Roundhouse block. Punch. Ridge hand, vertical fist, back to the beginning. Again, ready? Roundhouse block. Punch, ridge hand, vertical fist, back to the beginning. One more time, ready? Roundhouse block. Punch, ridge hand, vertical fist, back to the beginning. Now let's do it as one motion. Ready? Itchy. Good. Going back. Self-defense number 2. Now the person is punching right, and you're going to go on the other side of the arm. So to make this very clear, when Mr. Zimmerman punches, if Sensei Galan goes this direction, ready, roundhouse block, here he's on the outside, or he's behind the elbow. We call this the outside of the arm. If Rinchi Galan happened to go the other direction with the roundhouse block while Mr. Zimmerman punches, we call this the inside of the arm. So the only difference between self-defense 1 and 2 is whether you're on the outside of the arm or inside the arm, and the techniques that we choose to do from those positions. And this also comes up when we get to self-defense number 5 and 6. So keep that in mind. So now we're going to imagine the person's punching right. So we're going to the inside of the arm. Ready? Roundhouse block. From here, you take a split finger strike to the eye, extend a knuckle strike to the throat, and a bare hand slap over the ear. Back to the beginning. Let's try it again. Ready? Roundhouse block. Eyes, throat, ear. Back to the beginning. Now keep in mind, I'm not covering or slowing down the roundhouse block much because I'm assuming that you know it from basics. But I'm going to slow it down, and Rinchi Galan's going to slow it down just a little bit so as to make sure you understand it. So we're going to step this direction again. Ready? Step, and you do a palm block. Then you take your other hand, go wrist to elbow, and do your knife hand block. Let's go back and try that one more time just to make sure everybody understands that. Ready? Step and palm block, and then knife hand block. Now from here, we go split finger strike to the eyes, extend a knuckle strike to the throat, bare hand slap to the ear. Back to the beginning. Remember, whenever you practice in the air, always imagine the person's the same size as you. And so if I'm aiming at my head level or my eye level, I always try to put it exactly in that same spot. Ready? Roundhouse block. Eyes, throat, ear. Back to the beginning. Ready? Roundhouse block. Eyes, throat, ear. Back to the beginning. Notice how I'm staying right on the line, and so is Rinchi Galan, because we're just learning to go side to side right now. Ready? Roundhouse block. Eyes, throat, ear. Back to the beginning. Now one motion for self-defense number 2. Ready? Itchy. Good. Back to the beginning. Self-defense number 3. We are imagining someone's punching right, aiming at our groin. We're going to put our right hand on top, and you're going to step back with your right foot and block. It's like you're hitting their hand, and then as you hit their hand, their head will naturally come forward, and so you just raise your hand and do the eye strike. Notice I don't chamber it, it's just block and eye strike. So let's give that a try. Everybody put your right hand on top. Ready? Block and eye strike. Now you chamber the right hand while you're holding on to their hand. Then you kick them right at the groin with the top of your foot. We call that an instep kick. Then we slide our hand up and grab their shoulder so that we can pull them into an elbow. Let's go back and try that again. Ready? Right hand on top. Block and eye strike. Chamber. Kick. Grab. Elbow. Back to the beginning. Ready? Right hand on top. Ready? Block and eye strike. Chamber. Kick. Grab elbow. Good. Now one motion. Ready? Itchy. Block and eye strike. Chamber. Kick. And elbow. Good. Now self-defense number 4. We're imagining someone's punching right at our nose. We're going to step forward with our left foot. And the way to look at it is think of doing a high block and then putting your other hand right next to it. So it's almost like I want to make sure to put my hands above their head. Sometimes as people see this motion, they imagine that the hands are actually blocking the punch, and that would never work. You're blocking with your arm, but your hands are above their head. And the reason we block with 2 hands is so it's simply easy to grab, okay? You want to grab their shoulders. So we're going to do that. We're going to step with our left foot. Notice also that Rinchi Galan will step to the outside of Mr. Zimmerman's foot as he's blocking. Ready? Block. So we're right here, so you'll see how Rinchi has his hands over Mr. Zimmerman's head, and he's blocking with his left arm, okay? So he's in position. He has his left foot to the outside of Mr. Zimmerman's foot. From here, we take both hands, grab the shoulders, knee, then we do a forearm, and as we do the forearm, we ask the partner just to take a slight step back, and then we take the left hand and do a vertical fist to the ribs. Good, let's go back and try that again. When we do the knee, most people's natural reaction is to step backwards, and we want you going forward with your strikes. So you're doing the knee, and as you step forward, you should be coming forward with that forearm strike, and then the vertical fist. So we ask the partner just to take a step back so as to encourage us to keep going forward, okay? So let's give that a try. Stepping with the left foot, ready, wedge block, grab, knee, forearm, vertical fist. Back to the beginning. Now we haven't explained the forearm strike, but a forearm is simply hitting with this part of your arm. So when you bring it up, imagine doing an uppercut at a funny angle and then just flipping the arm so that you can take this part of your arm, and it's like I'm trying to hit Mr. Zimmerman right in the chin, just like that. All right, so let's give that a try. Ready? Stepping with the left foot, wedge block, grab, knee, forearm, vertical fist. Back to the beginning. Let's try it again. Ready? Wedge block, grab, knee, form, vertical fist. Good, one motion. Ready, itchy. Good, very good. Self-defense number 5. So now we've gone all 4 directions. So now we're going to go all 4 directions again, but adding a variety of techniques and takedowns. Now for self-defense number 5, we need to explain a couple of things. One is we're going to do a roundhouse block and then do what's called a hook. You're putting your hand like this. Sometimes when people see this, they imagine you're grabbing where the thumb is like this. You're not wanting to do that because all he has to do, just like you learned in class bands escape, is yank away and he just pulls away and he's right out of there, okay? So you're not grabbing the hand like this. We're taking our hand and going over it or hooking it as we're locking it close to our body, okay? So you want to hook it and get a hold of it. The second thing is the roundhouse kick. When we say roundhouse kick, this sometimes gets called a hook kick, the way we're going to do it. But basically, it's a kick where I do the roundhouse with the ball of the foot. So most of the time when we teach a roundhouse kick, we're always telling you to hit with the top of the foot. But in a street situation, you don't hit with the top. That's a sport item. That's something we do in sparring to keep from hurting our partner. When you actually want to penetrate, instead of taking the top of the foot and hitting with the top, you want to take the ball of your foot and penetrate as you're striking, okay? And you're either aiming in the ribs or the solar plexus is most of the time where we're aiming. Then we're also going to do what's called a thumb punch. You make a fist and put your thumb on top like this. You're hitting with the thumb joint, and it's a half circle motion. Imagine like the way we do a ridge hand or a bear hand. You make a half circle so you can hit them in the eye. So you're taking this thumb joint, you make a fist, but you slide that thumb right there. You try to secure it right in there, and then you hit with that thumb joint into the eye, okay? And that particular strike in this self-defense pattern, we're aiming for the eye, but later you can learn to hit in the throat or some other areas, okay? And then the next thing that's a tricky part, this particular pattern is probably one of the more difficult ones, is you're doing an arm bar. Now when you do the arm bar, you're taking your forearm, this part of the arm, and you're trying to hit them behind the elbow. So where the elbow is bending, where it bends, you're going slightly behind it. So when you do your hook, and after you've done your kick, and you do the palm heel, then we'll let go just for a second to do the thumb punch. When you trap it, you want to lock it to your hip. That way when you turn your hip, see how it straightens his elbow out? That's what you want. You want to turn your hip and straighten his elbow out as you're hitting behind his elbow to break the arm. Sometimes I'll call it an arm bar just to be nice, but theoretically we're really trying to break the arm. All right, and then the last movement in this is then you come up with what's called a calf to calf. I grab his shoulder, I've got his arm, and I'm taking my calf muscle and hitting behind his. That means I'm hitting with this part of the leg. That's why it's called calf to calf. This part, this muscle is called the calf. Here's his. And so I'm just taking my calf and hitting his calf, okay? So let's go ahead and give that a try. Now he's just going to load for the takedown until I say do it in one motion. Then he'll take Mr. Zimmerman down. But otherwise, we're just going to load for the takedown. Load for the takedown means we want you to off-balance the person, but don't actually knock them over. In other words, I'm here. When I do a calf to calf, I'm hitting that leg, I'm getting him off balance, but I'm not really knocking him over, okay? So let's give it a try. So we're doing the roundhouse block this direction. Here we go. Ready? Roundhouse block. And then we do our hook, and that becomes one motion. We also get in what's called a get ready kick stance. We're putting most of our weight on one leg. You're just barely touching with the other. It's also called a cat stance. From here, we do a roundhouse kick, hitting with that ball of the foot. Palm heel, that means you're taking the palm and just hitting them in the face. Thumb punch, we talked about that, to the eye. Chamber the hand again. Arm bar. Now we just switch that hand up and we load for that calf to calf takedown. Good, let's go back and try that again. Here we go, ready? Roundhouse block, hook, kick, palm heel, thumb punch, trap, arm bar, and then most of the time we just switch that hand over, step up, grab the shoulder, and load for that calf to calf takedown. Good, let's try it again. And notice when I do the calf to calf, I'm not stepping down and trying to push him over like we do for a front bear hug. I'm swinging the leg down so that I could carry it right through. That would be the idea when you actually take them down. So here we go, ready? Block and hook, kick, palm heel, thumb punch, trap, arm bar, and load for that calf-to-calf takedown. Good. Now, one motion, but notice Sensei Galan will take him down very gently. All right, ready? Itchy, block and hook, kick, palm heel, thumb punch, arm bar, and take him down gently. Good. That is self-defense number 5. Self-defense number 6 is a lot like self-defense number 2 in some ways. You do the roundhouse block to the inside. You're going to go bare hand. And this time, instead of doing a throat strike, you make a solid fist. It's called an uppercut. The uppercut, instead of trying to take the knuckles and aim for the throat, I'm taking the fist and going under the chin. Then the next thing we're going to do is called a groin strike. Now the groin strike is a 2-part motion. You take your hand and you're slapping to the groin with your palm as you chamber your other hand, and think of chambering the other hand like you do for a low block. Then you're going to take the bottom of your fist, the hammer fist, and you strike to the groin as well. So whenever we say groin strike, you're actually doing 2 parts. You're going palm strike, then you do the hammer fist. If we ever break it down, that's how we'll say it. We'll say palm strike, hammer fist. But when we put it together, it's kind of like the palm block and the knife hand block. When you put it together, we call it a roundhouse block. Well, this is a palm strike, a hammer fist. When you put it together, we call it a groin strike, okay? And then you're going to do what's called a soul sweep. I'm grabbing his arm, I'm grabbing his shoulder. Remember, I just hit him in the groin, so he's naturally already bent over. And I'm going to try to take the inside part of my foot. We call that the sole of the foot, just right here. And I'm trying to hit the inside of his foot to knock it to the side. So I'm just coming up and striking it. At the same time, I turn his upper body. So I'm just going all balancing, but I'm turning his upper body and I'm kicking the foot so as to take him down, okay? And that's what we call a soul sweep. Now, one little trick about the soul sweep that is a common mistake. When most people do this, as he punches and I block and I go bare hand, uppercut, groin strike, hammer fist, don't forget that if I try to kick his leg from here, I have no power. I have to take my foot and I put it in front of his foot so that the center of my body is above his foot, and then I'll have plenty of power to be able to kick that leg, okay? So keep that in mind when you practice at home. You have to imagine that you got to step back in to kick their leg. So let's give it a try. So we're imagining the person's punching right. We're going to the inside with our roundhouse block. Here we go, ready? Roundhouse block. From here, bare hand, solid fist, uppercut under the chin. Take the right hand, the hand that's here, just goes back a little bit and you hit with the palm as you chamber the other hand like a low block. Now you just take the bottom of your fist, hammer fist. Now grab the wrist, grab their shoulder, and when you pull down on their shoulder, it's almost like I'm trying to chamber the hand. I'm just pulling it down. At the same time, I lift this arm, so I'm making a little bit of a circle with my hands as I kick to the inside of their foot. Good, let's go back and try that again. All right, so here we go, ready? Roundhouse block, bare hand, uppercut, palm strike, and hammer fist. Grab the wrist, grab the shoulder, and then take a step as you load for that soul sweep. Good, let's go back and try that again. Here we go, ready? Roundhouse block, bare hand, uppercut. Now take the right hand. The hand that's in the uppercut position is the one that's going to go to the opposite shoulder. The hand that's chambered is going to be the first one that strikes at the groin. So ready? Groin strike. Now we grab the wrist, grab the shoulder, and load for the soul sweep. Excellent. Let's try that again. Ready? Roundhouse block. Bare hand. Uppercut. Groin strike. Grab the wrist, grab the shoulder, and load for that soul sweep. Good. Again, let's try it again. Ready? Roundhouse block. Bare hand. Uppercut. Groin strike. Grab the wrist, grab the shoulder, step, and load for that soul sweep. Good. A couple more times. Ready? Roundhouse block. Bare hand. Uppercut. Groin strike. And load for that soul sweep. One more time. Here we go. Ready? Roundhouse block. Bare hand. Uppercut. Groin strike. And load for that soul sweep. Good. Now this time, doing it as one motion. Ready? Itchy. Roundhouse block. Bare hands. Uppercut. groin strike, and gently taking them down to the soul sweep. All right, very good. Now self-defense number 7. Now self-defense number 7 correlates with self-defense 3. Remember self-defense 3, we stepped backwards. Self-defense 7, we're also going to step backwards as we turn away from the attack. To help you with this, if he puts his fist right in front, we're going to do what's called a forearm block. I'm taking that same part of my arm we talked about for the forearm strike earlier, same part of my arm that I used for the forearm strike behind the elbow. I'm just going to take this hand and I'm hitting his arm out of the way. So that you can see it a little better, we're going to have him punch with the other hand, and you see I'm knocking his arm out of the way. At the same time I'm knocking his arm out of the way, I'm going to step backwards. So if he punches left, I'm going block, and then I step backwards at the same time. So one more time, now he's going to punch right, so you can see this, and I go block and step backwards. So now to demonstrate it in more one motion, ready, block. Now from this position, I'm going to raise my elbow and I do a back fist to his face. I knock his arm out of the way, and then I've got to step closer. The next movement I'm supposed to do is a knife hand, and if I stay here, I can't even reach him with the knife hand, let alone have power. So I've got to take this foot, and I step to the outside of his foot in a forward fighting stance facing away, and then I pivot into a forward fighting stance as I strike him with a knife hand to the side of the neck. Then I'm going to grab his wrist, grab his shoulder, I'm going to kick him in the groin, and then I load for a calf-to-calf takedown. So you notice when I did that kick, I'm kicking and then I just bring the leg around without putting it on the ground and doing that calf-to-calf takedown. All right? One other thing I want to point out about this, the way you get power into your strike is the step in. So after he punches and I go here, when we teach this, we teach it as 2 steps. You go back fist, and then step 1, you step forward and knock the arm out of the way, and step 2, you turn and do a knife hand. The way I like to illustrate this is imagine a baseball pitcher throwing a ball. You notice a baseball pitcher never takes the ball and then goes. You'll notice that they step as they throw the ball. That's the way this knife hand is supposed to work. When I step, it's so I'm close enough that when I pivot and do the knife hand, I have a lot of power. So the step and knife hand become one motion once you get this down. You're stepping in going, right there. One other thing is sometimes people talk about karate having a karate chop. There's really no such thing in karate. And what they're talking about is a knife hand. They're imagining someone coming in and just chopping and hitting something. But a knife hand is like a knife. Knives do not chop, they slice. So when you actually hit the target, you're coming in and slicing the target as you hit it. So when I come in, I'm not trying to chop his neck, I'm trying to come in behind the neck and slice it as I strike. And that is a knife hand strike, okay? And it'd be far more effective than trying to just chop the neck, okay? So we're going to go ahead and walk through that. Remember, we're stepping backwards on this. So imagine the person's punching right at the middle of your body. And before we do it as one motion, we're going to break it down into 2. So the attacker steps right and puts his fist right in front of Mr. Sensei Galan. And now we're going to take our arm and block their arm and step back, okay? Let's try that one more time. So the attacker, Mr. Zimmerman, sticks his fist right in front of Sensei Galan. Now we're going to go block and step back. Good. Now that you understand the movement a little bit better, let's do it as one motion. Ready? Block. Now taking your elbow, raise it and do a back fist to their face. Step forward with your left foot, but notice I'm facing the opposite direction. Knock their arm out of the way and chamber your other hand by your head. Now pivot and do a knife hand. Now notice we're still holding on to this arm as I'm doing a knife hand to the side of the neck. Then you grab the shoulder, kick to the groin with the top of the foot, and a calf-to-calf takedown. Let's go back and try that a few more times. Ready? Forearm block, back fist, step, knife hand, kick, and load for the calf-to-calf takedown. Good, let's go back and try it again. Ready? Forearm block, back fist, step, knife hand, kick, and forearm block, or calf to calf, I'm sorry. Let's go back and try it again. Here we go, ready? Forearm block, back fist, step, knife hand, kick, calf to calf. Good. One more time. Together. Ready? Forearm block. Back fist. Step. Knife hand. Kick. And load for that calf to calf. Good. Now we're going to do it one motion. Gently taking our partner down. Ready? Itchy. Excellent. Good. Self-defense number 8 is probably also one of the very difficult ones. Self-defense 8, we're going to do a cross block as we're pushing our hands up. The idea of self-defense 8 is he punches at my nose and I'm blocking, and in theory with number 8, you're actually moving into the attack, and the way you move into the attack is because you're kicking them at the same time. So you're blocking their punch at the same time you kick them in the groin. And that's why it's a forward motion, but even though you're not actually stepping forward. So he comes in and I go block, kick, then I get a hold of his hand. We'll talk about that in a second. I pull him to my opposite hip. I kick him again, but this time to the face. I put my elbow or my hip against his elbow, so I have him in an arm bar, and then I'm just hitting him to the back of the neck with that hammer fist strike, okay? Now, when people are learning this, the hardest thing is trying to get this block, kick, and grab all coordinated. So we're going to take a moment and try to help you with that. When you first learn this, it's easier to teach it to you without the first kick. So the best way to learn this is the person puts their fist right in front of your nose, and if it's his right fist, I want my right hand closest to me. And I block with my right hand closest to me. Now the hand on the outside will turn, and it's like I'm trying to take my thumb and get under his palm. I take the hand over here, the one that's farther away, and I turn and I grab his wrist. From this position, we're just stepping back with the right foot and bringing the hand over to the opposite hip. And the way that happens, you notice that I turn his hand like a circle as I'm bringing it down. So he was here, his palm is down, and when I get done with it, his palm is facing up, or actually I've turned it to almost 270 degrees. It's almost facing this direction, okay? So just to demonstrate that one more time, he puts his fist right here, and I go block, grab, step back, and pull. Then all I have to do to finish this is go kick to his face, put my hip against his elbow, hammer fist on the back of the neck, okay? We're going to go ahead and I'm going to demonstrate it one more time, and now I'm going to add that first kick back in. So as he punches, I go block and kick, and this is why it's so difficult. You're staying on one leg as you're grabbing, and then stepping back and pulling, kicking, and doing the hammer fist. So to demonstrate this one more time, notice that the block and kick happen at the same time. Ready? Block and kick, then I grab, pull down, I kick at the face, then I do a hammer fist to the back of the head. All right, so now they're going to face each other. So let's practice this first of all with the idea of not doing the first kick, just so you can get the motion down. So Mr. Zimmerman's going to put his fist right in front of Renshi Gallant's nose. We're going to take our hands, cross them, block. Now think of taking the hand closest to you and turn it out. Take the hand that's farther away and turn it in. Some people will say with the right hand, think of going clockwise, if that kind of helps you. So you just grab the hand this way. Now with this hand holding on to their hand, you're just turning their hand around as it comes to your hip. So step back with the right foot and put both hands on your left hip. Now you kick them in the face and do a hammer fist to the back of their neck. Good, let's go back. Now let's try it again, one more time without doing the first kick. Ready? Block, grab, and then from here, step back, kick, and hammer fist. Now we're going to add the first kick. So that's what you got to learn to do, is how to do the block, kick, and stay on that one leg, because you don't step down with this leg until you're actually pulling them back. All right, so let's try it. Ready? Block and kick, grab, step back with the right foot, kick them in the face, hammer fist to the back of the head. So as far as memorizing this pattern, it's probably very easy, but trying to get the coordination of this grab. And of course, when you then do it with the left arm, you've got to do everything mirrored. It's the other way. So if your left hand, if you're doing against a left punch, your left hand is closed. So then you got to take the outside hand in and the inside hand out. And so now suddenly you're going counterclockwise with your hands, okay? But again, we're just focused on the right hand, but I want to take note of that or make sure you're thinking about that. So put your right hand inside, ready? Block and kick. Grab, pull down, kick to the face, hammer fist to the back of the head. Good, let's try it again. All right, ready? Block and kick. Grab, pull down, kick, hammer fist. Good, try it again. Ready? Block and kick. Grab, pull down, kick, hammer fist. Now trying it in one motion. Ready? Itchy. Excellent. One more time. Let's just do it one more time. Ready? Knee. Notice how when I'm practicing in the air, especially because I don't have a hand to grab, I'm really exaggerating that grab, how I'm turning those hands, okay? So one more time to see if you can do the same thing when you do it at home, okay? As a matter of fact, this time I'm going to turn in the same direction as you, so it's going to hopefully help you. Ready? Block and kick. Grab, pull down, kick, step in, hammer fist. Very good. We miss having you in class. We look forward to seeing you back when this is all over. Keep training, keep practicing. Whatever your self-defense patterns are, then take some time to keep going back over those patterns. Review your previous ones and keep working your new ones over and over until you get it. And we will naturally look forward to having you in class. We'll see where you're at and see if we can keep you moving in your training. But this will really help if you go back and watch this video again and again, especially the part that you're trying to learn, okay? And remember, self-defense 1 is for gray belt. Gray belt's going to tan belt. Self-defense 2 is tan going to yellow. Self-defense 3 and 4 is for yellow going to orange. Orange going to green have to know 5 and 6. And then the ones we just finished were 7 and 8. Now the last exercise we're going to take a moment to demonstrate is called form sparring. Now this is for the blue belts going to purple belt. Now here there's nothing prearranged. We're now trying to get you to think for yourself. Form sparring, we call this 3 to 6 step form sparring. What we work on is one person attacks and the other person simply picks a direction, demonstrates gets out of the way, and then demonstrates what they would do if someone was really attacking them. So just to kind of demonstrate this idea, he goes to punch and I block to the outside, and then I can do anything I want to do. So I can be here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, 3 to 6 step means do at least 3 techniques, but no more than 6. Now we go back. Now I'm attacking him and he's got to move. So he moves out of the way, and then he gets to do 3 to 6 different techniques. Then we go back. And now he's my attacker, and as he comes in, I move and I do 3 to 6 different techniques. And then we go back